Hello, Internet. Gino, that Pinguino Grieco here again with another episode of Deep Listens. And it's a special episode because today, chugga, 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 woo, woo. We are on the Paine train again, and it is rounding Chapter 2. And I am joined, as always, by my co-conductor, Chris, Zombiepie, Redacted.
I don't have a pained sigh. I don't have a... It's just a sigh of resignation this time. I don't want to talk about this game. I'm so resigned to my fate. When we last talked on Steam, I was basically in my deathbed, and I was in my deathbed. And I felt as if there would have been some sort of poetic justice had a Final Fantasy game finally put me to rest, but alas, fate was...
It was cruel.
Cruel. I'm still alive.
It said you must suffer more Final Fantasy X-2.
We're here to talk about Final Fantasy X-2.
You can sleep when you die.
Let's Gino, before we jump into let's be honest.
Yes?
Chapter 2 isn't that bad.
Oh, it's quite bad.
It's bad, but all right.
It's not as bad as it's going to get.
It's not as bad as it's clearly going to get. The last 2 hours of Chapter 2 are really good.
The last 2 hours of Chapter 2 are fine.
The last concluding story arc, like the whole Bear Alive versus Noojie-Woojie versus the Youth League, that whole 2 hour story arc, pretty good. Pretty good.
Yep. Now,
the first 2 hours are the biggest pile of shit I have ever seen my entire life.
I would also say that even the good moments from this game, had you put them in Final Fantasy X, would not even stand out as...
Oh, no. I feel like we're trying to find the silver lining to a shit sandwich. Yes. Just a fucking diarrhea dump in a BLT, but I'm trying to find the little few pieces of bacon and tomato.
Well, with that vivid image in everyone's heads...
It's bad.
Just a reminder, thank you for listening to this show. You can download it on iTunes. Please rate us 5. I'm going to try to do this earlier because big podcasts I listen to remind people to download and to rate at the beginning, and I figure if they're not too good to do that, I certainly am not. So, rate and review on iTunes and whatever podcast users you use. Deep Listens, we're probably worth 5 stars. I don't know. What else are you listening to?
I just noticed that the roof to my apartment is that popcorn ceiling stuff. I bet it has asbestos.
Great. Help.
I bet if I ate some of my wall, it would probably give me cancer.
That's true for most wall. Don't eat drywall. So, with that shameless plug out of the way, let's get to feedback. If you want to send an email or reach out to the show, do so at DeepListensPod on Twitter or at ThatPinguino on Twitter, deeplistens.libsyn.com. Hit up our comment sections, or deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. And you could sound something like this. This comes from Angel or Angel.
Oh, hey, Triple. How many times has he sent us an email? This is
like 2 or 3 times now.
2 or 3 times now. Thanks, yep. Angel. We appreciate it. Keep up the good work.
Angel, she, they, says,
sure.
How would your opinions about Final Fantasy X-2 change if it had been its own game and wasn't a sequel to a pre-existing game? I feel there are 2 camps regarding the matter. One argues that Final Fantasy X's trappings are all that maintains their interest in an otherwise empty story. The other camp argues X-2 is held back by a universe that doesn't fit its tone.
I think both camps are correct. I think Camp A and B are both correct. If this game doesn't have Final Fantasy X narrative and world, I don't know if a brand new world with characters I've never seen before could salvage this game and the emptiness of the story. I think, in fact, without a sense of prior emotional investment with the characters and where they're going, if this game just had 3 girls transform and I didn't know who they were and it's basically this aimless journey, I don't think we would be playing this game. I think we would be delaying it with Final Fantasy 13 and the whole 13 saga that I'm not looking forward to. If this was Final Fantasy 12 with the Final Fantasy 12 characters and you're having to relearn their story arcs, with this gameplay and this structure, nah. But then also, yeah, I mean, Angel points out how Final Fantasy X-2 kind of shits on your goodwill towards the 10 franchise. I don't know who wins.
Yeah, I would say that this game, it was able to reach as big an audience as it did because it is a Final Fantasy game. Had it not had that tie-in, it would not have been as successful financially. However, this game would probably have been better as a game if it had been standalone. Because
I don't know if I agree, but keep going.
Many of the most appealing things about this game, I think, have to do with its tone, its lightheartedness, its dress, like the dress sphere system, some of its J-pop stuff. Like, for as goofy as some of those things are, I think they're compelling, and we talked about this, I think, a little bit during some of the streaming we did over the weekend, that this game kind of has its moments where it some people find it empowering, some people find it offensively sexist, some people just find it meh. You know, there are wide-ranging opinions, but I think if it had just been a Charlie's Angels with new characters, with the same mechanics, and just lost all of the story dead weight that it needs to carry forward, because it doesn't honestly use a lot of the themes and settings from Final Fantasy X in a compelling way. A lot of the times it feels like it is saddled with those things and has to pay homage to themes that it has no interest in. And I feel like this game would have done quite a bit better if it had just shed those elements that it doesn't want to deal with and just stayed with the main conceits.
But now, here's my perspective. Do you want to keep going?
Oh, all I was going to say is I wouldn't have cared. I probably wouldn't have played that game, but I think the audience that loves it might have loved it just as much. Now, I think Yuna being a part of it definitely helps that audience, but for me, it definitely didn't do that much, having the 10 name.
Well, yeah, I think we both can agree that the 10-2 was financially successful. There's no denying that. I mean, this game sold well. There was a time when it was even critically well received. Am I wrong in saying that? I think it...
Once upon a time.
Once upon a time. Without those scenes like, for example, in Besaid or Xanarkin, or even like the times when a new generation in the world of Final Fantasy X are trying to usher in this new saga 10-2, those are my jam. That's all that's motivating me to keep playing. If these were just new characters in a world I have never seen before, I have no real reason to keep going. I want to see what happens to Sid now that he feels depressed and he's lost his investment in Xanarkin. I want to see where this whole dynamic between Yuna and her hope of seeing Titus again. I want to see what Riku's deal is, or I want to see these characters progress. I don't agree with how they are progressing, but if they were new characters, I have to reacclimate myself to this new world and reacclimate to these characters I've never seen before. And I don't think there's a lot of good scaffolding in 10-2, and I don't feel there's a compelling narrative in 10-2. So you take out 10, I think there's nothing here. There's literally nothing here from a narrative perspective. Mechanically, I think I've started to warm up to the dress spheres, and I think mechanically 10-2 is interesting. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. But it's interesting. Narratively, and I think you and I see eye to eye in this matter, Gino, narratives are the reason why we play Final Fantasy games.
Yes.
Part of the reason why you've avoided playing Final Fantasy 15. It's part of the reason why I am dreading playing Final Fantasy 13. We don't play these games. The appeal to these games is not mechanics, tight mechanics. It is watching characters experience drama, evoking character emotions that we don't see in other genres or other franchises, and then watching the resolution that the characters deserve. I don't feel like the mechanical trappings of 10-2 would succeed in a new universe. Hence, look at Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, 13's not a great game.
So, like, I don't know. I think both of those camps, like 10 and the 10 universe, is all that keeps me going. I think that camp is correct. I also think the camp that says it's offensive to watch what it does with characters that, like, the progression from 10 to 10-2 isn't logical. I think, oddly enough, a lot of people think she's annoying. Riku is basically the only character with a believable story arc. It makes total sense that she's bubbly and more confident and wants to have fun. And yeah, like, she was so
being a thief.
She was constantly doubting herself in Final Fantasy X. Like, yeah, Waka and Lulu, like, watching them be married and potentially have a kid, that's fine, but it's like a scene, maybe two.
Yeah. And I would say Riku being a essentially salvager of history who's flying around the world being a thief with her brother, like, completely fits. It's shoehorning everyone else into that storyline that gets a little odd. And so there's kind of our answer. Next comment we have is from Arbitrary Water.
Hey, Arbitrary.
He says, "Hey, Gino and ZP, as one of the other people who Zombiepie will message on Steam for the purposes of complaining about Final Fantasy, I figured I should actually write in one of these days and add my contribution to this nightmare hole. Luckily for you guys, I'm someone who actually likes Final Fantasy X-2. Well, at the very least, I liked Final Fantasy X-2 back when I was heavy into irony and hadn't entirely broken myself on intentionally playing bad stuff. As someone who had not played Final Fantasy X, the complete and utter betrayal of that game's tone, characters, and themes didn't bother me too much, and I was left with an exceptionally stupid, borderline self-parody of a Final Fantasy game with flashy, fast-paced combat and a decent implementation of the job system. If you disconnect yourself from the parts of the game where it's a sequel to Final Fantasy X, it turns out you can get a lot of enjoyment out of, we need money really bad, so we made the first direct sequel to a Final Fantasy game into this weird Charlie's Angels thing. However, I will admit that, after listening to the first episode of your podcast and being reminded of the game's myriad flaws, Final Fantasy X-2 is probably a bad game. While I get a lot of enjoyment listening to you two slowly lose your souls describing what actually happens in this thing, I'll buy that the actual video game product is not actually good, and I'm just broken inside. I look forward to your continuing nightmare journey. P.S. ZP should play this game drunk and blog about it the same way he blogged about High School of the Dead. I think he'd enjoy it more than I.
Oh, man. Do you remember that? Do you remember when I used to do drunk blogs?
No.
Oh, yeah. I would watch a garbage anime.
Oh, that's
Intoxicated.
Okay, that's High School of the Dead, right? Yeah. I forgot about that.
And so I watched the first 3 episodes of High School of the Dead intoxicated because I was in college, and, you know, college you do things that you regret in hindsight.
And, you know, hang loose, brah.
I actually watched it out of order. I watched the last episode first. That show is terrible. That's such a bad show. I think I can kind of see where Arbitrary Water is coming and looking at this is, if I was 13, maybe even 14, I think my opinion of Final Fantasy X-2 would be pretty positive. I don't know about you, Gino. There are parts of Final Fantasy X-2, I think, much as like I said it when we were reviewing and assessing 10, X-2 is such a product of its time. It's painfully obvious which parts of pop culture, especially Japanese pop culture, they're trying to draw upon to increase the scope or the breadth of their audience, the mainstream appeal. I think it's painfully obvious they didn't have a lot of time. And let's be honest, Square Enix was dealing with probably the darkest part of their corporate history. They got very close to being bankrupt. So them having to hash out a game to avoid bankruptcy when after 10-2 they continued to provide plenty of memories for millions of video game fans, I think from that perspective, you have to at least understand the context to 10-2. assessing it from an objective perspective, yeah, there's mechanics in here that are interesting. There are parts of the story which are interesting and compelling, but as a completed product and a follow-up to a game that may well have been one of the greatest goddamn PS2 games ever, it's a disappointment.
Yeah. So I would say I agree with you on pretty much all those counts. This game is bad, and it has some bright spots here and there, but on the whole, it is a nightmarish journey for someone who is not 100% down with J-pop and kind of the magical girl aesthetic. If you're not 100% into that genre, and it's fine if you are, but if you're not, it's just a real rough go of it. And many of the things that are rough around the edges, this is like, so that is specifically
have been
talking
exacerbated
about the story.
with time as a result.
Yeah, that's mostly just talking about the story. When it comes to the actual execution, I think the execution is poor from a gameplay perspective, from a mechanical perspective, from just like some of the technical aspects of this game. There's a lot of rough around the edges stuff that makes this game just feel chintzy.
Yeah,
and you can be down with all of the story stuff, and
you can be down with Magical Girl. I'm not trying to shit on Magical Girl.
That's totally fine. But there are just some basic fundamental elements of this game that I feel just needed more time and more effort, and it's a shame. But I
do you think we need to stop calling it a bad game, because there's that kernel, there's that small nugget of gold in this just refuse pile?
No, because I think that the existence of positive elements in a game does not redeem the otherwise lackluster elements therein. Just because you can find a nice element in a game doesn't mean that the game itself is better than the sum of its parts. Now, there are very few games that have no redeeming qualities.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to wrap my mind about. I think that we both can agree, and I've said that a lot, Final Fantasy X-2 is not greater than the sum of its parts. But what I'm trying to assess is whether or not Final Fantasy X-2 is exactly the sum of its parts or less. What it provides is basically a bunch of good ideas that are cobbled together in just this kind of shoehorned product. But some of those ideas, I would have liked to have seen them perfected or refined.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's enough for me. I don't know if this had not been a Final Fantasy game, I don't know if we would be playing it.
Yes, I agree with that. So, let us
If this was some sort of bullshit visual novel game, like Gino would refuse to record a podcast about this. YRP, the adventure.
Possibly. So, last question comes from Jared. And he says, I'm not sure if this comment will be read on the main podcast or the Final Fantasy podcast, but I think it applies to both in a few ways. If possible, please read it on both, because I would love to hear Billy's response to this email, as well as listening to Chris defend himself. I wanted to comment about a live stream Gino hosted, where his Final Fantasy co-host, Chris, said what is ostensibly the most offensive thing anyone on Deep Listens has
Gino.
ever said.
Stop.
Okay.
I want to set the record to all of our audience, our 12 viewers. Gino, when he got this email, sent me a Steam message, and then in quotations had that sentence. Chris said what is ostensibly the most offensive thing I've ever heard in anything related to Deep Listens. He sends me this, and I basically thought I had messed up and I would have to bow out. I would have to apologize formally to the website. You can now read the next sentence.
During Gino's Final Fantasy VIII live stream, Magic the Gathering was brought up.
God damn it.
Now, generally, when it comes to MTG, I say different strokes for different folks.
Exactly.
But this conversation was related to how to introduce new players to Magic the Gathering. To put it civilly, Gino provided a well-founded answer based on real-life experiences, and Chris extolled a mountain of hot bullshit. Everything Chris said was wrong, just plain wrong. I get his perspective of wanting to split 2 decks quickly to start a game, but everything he said is the worst way to teach MTG. I should know. As I, too, volunteer to teach MTG at a local card and board game shop, so what's so wrong with what he said? First, Chris recommended new players just buy a dual deck, and he pointed to Might and Mind as a good jumping point. He stated that players could just split the 2 decks, and play a vanilla-ass game of MTG. No, just no! As Gino said, learning the fundamentals should come first before you try tackling a meaty dual deck. Concepts such as suspend require an entire workshop for me to teach first-time players. Second, Chris stated the best way to learn Magic is to play the Pauper or Commander metagames. Saying this is the magical equivalent of a war crime. You're setting up new players for failure. Please do not do this. Because of how dangerous his advice is, I was wondering if Billy and Gino can hound Chris for 10 minutes to prevent him from doing further harm to the Magic community. Winky face. P.S. I love the podcast and hope my comedic sarcasm came through, and I agree with Chris about Berserk and Fate Stay Night. The animes are fucking cool, even if they are rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Best wishes, Jared.
Yeah, Berserk is baller, Fate Stay is baller. At least we can agree on that, Jared. Thank you for throwing me under the bus, Jared.
Yes.
It's almost as if my preconceptions of the Magic community being this collection of hoity-toity, self-righteous, intolerant, garbage people is well-founded.
Would you like a shovel to bury yourself further?
I would like to find this shovel and bury you and your garbage trading game, which is just this money sink. It's right up there with Warhammer 40K.
And the Final Fantasy trading card game. So, let me explain. So, for people who were not watching that stream, what happened was we had someone asking, I believe, how to get into Magic.
It was
the
Reki.
Gathering. It was one of our fans, longtime fans of the show, and he was asking, how do you get into MTG? And my advice was, go to a local game store and ask them for a learn-to-play kit. Magic makes... I do some judging at a local store. I run events. I'm not a judge yet. I'm working on it. But I run some events. I do a lot of teaching. I do some workshops. This is something I do quite a lot. And so he asked, how do we get started? And most stores will have learn-to-play kits. They're 2 30-card decks that they'll give you for free, with a rules insert on how to play, and the 2 decks are generally speaking fairly balanced. The cards are very simple. The mechanics are not that tricky to grasp.
And it's fucking boring.
No. So that helps you learn how to play, and then from there you can graduate into other forms. But you need to learn how to play the game first. And what you said was you should get a Commander, a dual deck, and you said specifically Might and Magic. Now, Might and Magic, or is it Might and Magic?
I love that deck.
That deck,
yeah, it was Might and Magic.
I do too. It's very good. I enjoy it as someone who knows how to play Magic the Gathering. But the problem is, the Magic deck in the Might and Magic deck features a mechanic called Suspend. It is built around this mechanic called Suspend, and Suspend is one of the most complex mechanics that Magic has ever had.
So give that to the person who's the pro, and give the other deck to the person who's new.
Yeah, but the problem is if you're learning how to play and your opponent plays this card with Suspend, they won't understand what's going on. Suspend is like, I put this card and it's in play, but it's not in play, and it's got counters on it and every turn, and then when the counters come off, it comes into play for free, and it's got haste. It's got a lot of complex stuff.
I feel like new players should learn at least one beefy mechanic, one mid-tier mechanic while learning the fundamentals.
But not the first time they play.
Absolutely, the first time they're playing.
No. You save this.
So save that for the second turn of play. What's the big difference between first and second? Just throw it in the first time.
They know what a land is, and they know what a creature is, and they know what instants and sorceries are. They need to know what basic stuff is.
Fucking boring. You're going to bore them to tears if you play the starter deck.
How many people have you ever taught to play Magic?
0.
Okay. I've taught 30.
And I want to correct the record. I didn't say What did he say? Pauper and Commander? I said Commander as a joke. I said Pauper and Highlander. I think that there is a benefit to teaching the casual formats of Magic, especially Singleton.
So the problem with those two, Pauper, it's
you can just have
only.
Common cards, and the common cards are easier to wrap your mind around.
Now, the problem with that is, if you're playing Pauper, the people who play Pauper, generally speaking, that I've seen, are murderers. They take Pauper very seriously. And the decks that they play, though they are all commons, are not simple. They play a bunch of cards that just happen to be broken.
I feel that there are more
commons.
common cards which are easy to wrap your mind around. If you're going to play your top-tier Pauper cards, you're doing it wrong. But if you can make a deliberately designed, very simple, straightforward Pauper deck for a new player, that is a good idea.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just telling you, the people who play Pauper don't play like that.
Play Singleton, then play Highlander.
But the problem with Highlander is you've got 100 different cards and you barely know what any of them do.
And that's why you do a dual deck.
But the dual deck you chose was a bad dual deck. It's hard to learn.
You don't need to spend so much time. When I open up a dual deck, I like how it's basically a living card game. Because, all right, let me be honest. I don't like Magic the Gathering. I play it because I am friends with people who like Magic the Gathering. The reason why I like the dual decks is because I like living card games from the Fantasy Flight variety. I used to be a very dedicated Android Netrunner fan. Used to play it in my card shop until basically the Android Netrunner fan base basically figured out left and right how to win that game in 4 to 5 turns. And, Android Netrunner is now this incomprehensible mess with all these expansion packs. So play Dominion. I like to play Dominion. I like to create decks. I like to create a hand, and I like to set up janky-ass combos which wreck shit up. And with Commander, those dual decks, you can just okay, here's your cards, here's my card, let's play. Boom, done. I don't have to set any of my shit up.
And that is totally fine.
Yeah, it's totally fine to teach someone by doing that.
I would just say don't. Maybe this is not the way. Don't teach with those things.
You're the person who had my first Final Fantasy game be Final Fantasy VIII.
Yes, but I knew what I was doing to you. I went in knowing that I was.
How is that any different than having someone learn with a dual deck? With a
I
pre-selected dual deck with a finite number of cards with no sense of randomness with that set of cards.
So the reason is because I knew with one hand I was extending a friendly handshake, and with the other hand I was jabbing a knife in your side. I knew that was what was happening. Thank
you so much, Gino. Thank you. I appreciate everything you have contributed to my life and my quality of life.
You're welcome. We're friends. We're good buddies.
Do we want to talk about our investment in the Final Fantasy trading card game?
I was about to use that as a segue. So speaking of trading card games and poor advice, we've invested in the Final Fantasy trading card game now, and we will have a podcast about that. This is also due to one of our listeners during that same live stream saying, "Hey, if you like Magic the Gathering, you should play the Final Fantasy trading card game." And I was like, "That sounds like a bad game." And then he was like, "It's actually not." And now, in my hands right now, I've got...
Thanks to David.
I've got 50 trading cards.
You have
I've
50 trading cards? So you have your starter pack and you bought 20 extra cards?
No, I haven't gotten my starter yet. It's still
Wait, you bought 50 cards outside of your starter?
I had to replace
one. Why would you do that?
Why would I do that? Because I'm a madman.
You have a problem. You have a very bad problem.
Well, because most of them were 10 cents, so it wasn't...
Yeah. Well, I've been going a different perspective. I've been buying the cards that are worth $1 to 50 cents.
Yeah, I invested heavily in
card in my freaking cart, and that's $5.
Yeah, so we're going to be having some Final Fantasy trading card game coverage for you.
It started out as a joke. I was just talking about all these dumbass, crappy looking cards with this janky ass artwork, and I still think the font on these cards is fucking horseshit.
But I will say, everything else I really like.
I don't like how there are no borders to the cards. In Magic, at least there's a border.
I got a foil. I like the foiling. Can you see that?
Yeah.
It's sparkly.
Is that a Final Fantasy 13 card you
Final
bought?
Fantasy 3 card.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's got a good
Artwork
ability.
is inconsistent.
Yeah.
There are cards which break the game. It's not balanced.
We'll discuss this during our Final Fantasy trading card game.
It's fucking
episode.
crazy. This is such a crazy game. Like, looking at the rules and how it's played.
Yeah, I think it's well made.
I don't think... What was the Waypoint article, like, why I gave up on Magic the Gathering for the Final Fantasy trading card game?
No, it was like Magic the Gathering fixes one of the longtime problems of... the Final Fantasy trading card game solves one of the longtime problems with Magic the Gathering. Let me look this up.
Magic the Gathering...
The title of the article is the Final Fantasy trading card game unpicks a very particular secret of mana. And then it is written by Owen Duffy. And the tagline is, rather than establish itself as a unique experience, FFTCG seems to want to fix the problems of Magic the Gathering. And I would say, yeah, this is definitely a game that is more a commentary and a re-envisioning of MTG than it is its own thing, but that's totally fine because I love that game.
Fucking weird.
Yep.
Oh, it's so weird. This is the weirdest thing. And like I said, I don't like trading card games because I find the format in which you buy the cards for this format of card games highly exploitative and downright abusive. But I've spent $30 on this fucking shit show of a game, and I'm never going to play it. So I'm buying all these cards for a deck that I'm maybe going to play once against you on a live stream.
Well, let me put it to you this way. Once this podcast is recorded, I'm going to play you in one game. At least. I'm going to learn how to play this deck because I made a deck so we could play. But without further ado, let us get to Final Fantasy X-2. Reminder, if you want to get in touch with the show, have your emails read at deeplistenspod at thatpinguino, deeplistens.libsyn.com, or deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. So, Final Fantasy X-2 time.
So, like I said, Chapter 2 has some really interesting storytelling, I would say, at the last 2 hours. But the first 2 hours are the biggest pile of shit I have ever seen my entire life.
So the beginning of Chapter 2...
Holy fucking shit. This fucking game.
At the end of Chapter 1, you steal a awesome sphere.
Yes, you stole an awesome sphere from Kilika. New Yevon was trying to protect it from being taken by the Youth League, and the Youth League was attempting to find a covert way to steal it. But lo and behold, you found a way to take it without either of them gaining possession of this sphere. And in the sphere, you watch this. So, Gino, we live in a world where technology and Mahina has been reintroduced to society, yet somehow all of the fucking cameras suck shit. Every single camera. It's never shot straight. It's an oblique shot or a Dutch angle. So all the cameramen suck shit. It's so the when same you say grainy camera, ass you mean literally footage a camera. With and it's the same grainy ass footage with streaking and tearing on the video footage. And the spheres themselves, the whole reason why we're on this godforsaken journey is because Yuna saw a sphere that had 2 seconds of a dude that looked like Titus but sure as fuck didn't sound like him, and now she's on to be a sphere hunter to try and find out who that man is.
Yes.
Because she's got to get the D.
Yes, but that specific D.
But it's the worst. It's the worst. It's so bad.
Yep, that's the plot. And so they get this awesome sphere, and it turns out that it has footage of a horrible, gigantic robot that looks like this giant machina.
It's the cheesiest looking devil robot. It's oh, hey, that's clearly evil. If it had been a giant pink unicorn robot, I don't think that scene would have worked at all. But, it's the most generically evil looking robot thing I've ever seen.
Yes. This giant robot named Vegnagun. And basically seeing this sphere freaks out the members of the Gullwing so much that they're like, we need to get this sphere out of here. And so they decide they have to give it away to one of the two rival factions.
And even before that, this kind of highlights one of my biggest problems with Yuna's characterization. Yuna was incredibly altruistic, putting her own life and wellness on the line for the sake of making life easier in Spira. She even says, I would have gladly given up my life. It had meant Sin would have been gone for even a month. Now she's like this superficially... What's the word I'm looking for? She wants objects. She needs things in her life. She's very vain. She needed this sphere, even though it was already someone else's sphere, and she takes it, watches it, and says, I'm done with it. You can go ahead and do whatever you want. It's a giant anachronism in her progression from Final Fantasy X to X-2, and we're forced to believe that this characterization of Yuna wanting to see and needing to see and willing to steal and take whatever is necessary in order to have just this sliver of hope of seeing Titus again.
Yeah.
And what's really offensive is whenever you go to Xanarkand or other places that were important to the story of 10, she exclaims her surprise at its development and her disappointment with how everyone is trying to explore their surroundings, as if because she is the High Summoner, she has a sense of entitlement. That's the word I was looking for. She's so entitled in 10-2. It's mind-boggling how entitled she is and how the writing staff to Final Fantasy X-2 didn't realize this giant anachronism with her characterization.
Yeah, it's not the best. They didn't do a good job.
And then also just the structure for this progression of her story arc, wanting to find Titus once again. It's the definition of stop, go, stop, go, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop storytelling. It's just herky-jerky. It progresses in spurts because... Gino, what's the next scene that we see after we watch this sphere? Is it about how we try to find other spheres which possibly might have fake Titus or real Titus in it?
No, it's about how after you drop off the sphere to whichever group you pick, either the Youth League or New Yevon, your gigantic ship, the Celsius, is ransacked by LeBlanc and her goons.
Actually, it's before that. It's the concert scene.
Oh, yeah, she has a dancing concert on the top of the Celsius.
God.
The Celsius, yeah. She dances. She puts on her songstress dress sphere, her and Riku both, and you have to push like a band of musicians into an elevator.
It does not look good or feel good. It's just a throwaway minigame because this game doesn't have anything.
They look like they're pucks in air hockey.
Yeah, they just move as if they're floating on ice or sliding on ice.
And you have to run into them. And when I say run into them, you might imagine that it's an animation, like she grabs them and like slowly pushes, like Titus does when he pushes a pedestal. No, she just walks into them with her normal running animation, and the character model is just slid like it's on ice with no like... There's no communication that she's moving them. It looks like this janky mod.
Yeah.
It looks like a Half-Life 2 mod or something.
And just the concert scene itself is this abhorrent train wreck. Like, all these characters are like, man, we just saw some heavy shit. Time to have a concert. Time to have some fun. And then Yuna starts singing, but she's not singing. She's like humming. Like da 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 da. She's singing her theme in Final Fantasy X-2 with no lyrics. She's just humming it and then gyrating. I really do like Brother's animation when he's like party party party. That animation is great. Brother's animation's great. We mentioned it last time. Whoever animated Brother had a lot of fun.
Her animation is basically her songstress animation, but sped up a little bit.
Yeah, I've started to notice that they reuse a lot of the animation, except not for Brother. Brother has like 500 different unique frames of animation. And like I feel like I've seen like Riku's like shaky shake animation 100 times.
Yep.
Like the I'm super excited. I'm going to like gyrate
her
my arms up and down and then shake side to side.
Her hands are up. Yeah, she does her shoulder shimmy.
Yeah, her shoulder shimmy animation. And fucking Yuna, that selfish human being, ruins the party because she just is so angry that fake Titus mentioned a name that is not her name, almost to suggest as if it's not really Titus, Yuna. It's almost as if you're being misled from this assy-looking video footage. And she just selfishly ruins the party. The party ends. And then I think I like the flashback that occurs when she goes to bed. I think it's real good. The flashback where Titus and her get fucking murdered. They get smoked.
Oh, yeah. They get smoked, and she wakes up in the songstress dress sphere.
All right, so I noticed during the live stream that I talked about how it's like, this makes no goddamn sense. Why is this here? And I've been thinking about it. I kind of like it because I feel it does develop the stories, the concept that the footage that Yuna feels entitled to watch more of is not her own, and it is the story of another couple or another group of people, and that bit by bit and piece by piece she's trying to put herself into the footage, kind of like corrupting her memories of her past. But that might be creative fan wankery on my perspective rather than the actual story putting in time and effort into what we see. Otherwise, I feel like the flashback is, one, it's CG, so it actually looks great. And I feel as if the CG in 10.2 looks better than the CG in 10. The Titus is still off, I would say. Yeah, he still looks janky as fuck. But those faces clearly look better. And it instills a sense of mystery to the progression of Yuna's character arc, which we will not see revisited for a solid, what would you say, 5 hours? This is the last time we kind of see any of this story progression, that there's some janky ass footage, that Yuna's losing grips with reality. Again, that might be me coloring within the lines, but there's no progression to what we see here or her flashback for the rest of chapter 2.
Yeah, and that's one of the big problems with this game. Every time Yuna has her story moments, it is generally the beginning of a chapter or the end of the chapter. And then everything in between is plot, or side quest, with each of the side quests kind of continuing some sort of plot that is unique to an area and then not necessarily extending beyond that area. So you get a lot of self-contained storylines that don't feel like they connect in any reasonable way, other than Yuna happens to be there. And it's one of the big problems with this game's storytelling. Generally, it just makes this game feel like several little messes instead of one cohesive story.
It feels as if like this game's development was Jigsaw. Okay, you're going to be responsible for developing all the quests in Kilika. You're going to be responsible. It feels as if it's like 8 teams working on one game and they never communicated with each other. So they developed their own shit, and clearly, like, there's no communication. They just did whatever they could in Kilika, whatever they could in Calmlands, whatever they could here. And I think this leads to something we lightly touched upon but didn't really delve into, and I feel we need to discuss with Chapter 2. There's not a lot to this story. There's not a lot to the critical path, as I like to call it. There's not a lot. And what would you say, Gino? Is like 60% of this game side quests?
More. I would say that 70% of this game is side quests if you do all of them.
That's insane. And what is really frustrating is that is never communicated to you as being the modus operandi of Final Fantasy X-2. So you spend all this time progressing the critical path, and I think that's maybe 4 hours per chapter? Maybe even less? Chapter 1 is short. Chapter 1 is pretty short, and I bet this is going to be another one of those Final Fantasy games where the last chapter is just a series of set pieces where you're fighting the final boss and whatever shit they decided to pull out of their ass for, like, the ass pull boss.
Yeah.
But is this where you're going to say, you don't even know?
Oh, you don't. I'm not going to even do that anymore because I don't need to with this game. I think you know that it wants to hurt you.
It wants to hurt me, Gino.
Yeah.
But like, there's not a lot to the story.
No.
There's some stuff in the beginning, which I thought was pretty good. Say what you will about, like, the introductory concert scene and just... But, like, giving this moral choice in the beginning of Chapter 2 was surprising. Was it implemented properly? No, not really. But I like the fact that the game presents these two camps and forces you to pick a side when you don't know the full picture early in the game, so as that when you learn more about the Youth League, you feel even more betrayed about your trust in them. I think that is probably one of my big positives from the game. But what? That's only 5% of the story.
Did you say you get betrayed by the Youth League?
I feel like there's already this sense that the Youth League is not to be trusted.
Well, I think that there's a sense that neither side is to be trusted.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like this is clearly an example of a game painfully trying to spell it out. Not since the likes of Fallout 3 or Fallout New Vegas have I ever seen a game present all these moral choices and clearly the correct answer is go your own path, find a third way. Not since like those games have I ever seen a game like so painfully hit me over the head that, you know, you could pick one of them or the other, but the right answer is trying to find them to compromise. It's like,
the answer's somewhere in between, guys.
You got to find them to compromise and make them realize that they're each making the world worse, even though they both think that they're making the world better.
Yes.
But in between that, there's going to be a bunch of robots and laser beams and explosions. It's like a child.
It's truly one of the most both sides games. And regardless of which side you pick, whichever side you pick, you give them the sphere, they like you. The side you don't pick does not like you. This means that whenever you go to their home base going forward, either their units, if you pick their side, will escort you around and you'll get no random battles. And if you did not choose a particular side, their units will attack you. So I chose Noojie-Woojie because that seemed like a dumb thing to do, and I just wanted to see what would happen.
Cool.
And what happens is whenever you go to Bevelle, no one attacks you. Everyone's like, hey, you're cool. And when you try to go to Mushroom Rock Road, all of the Youth League people mob you. And I had to defeat some of the nice people who joined.
Can we talk about how it's so painfully obvious that the game wants you to pick the Youth League?
Yeah. I mean, the Youth League, there is nothing. So when you said the Youth League seems like it might not end up being trustworthy, that is because the game needs them to. But like when compared to Noojie-Woojie is clearly still the same old, we're going to hide all this information, we are
not
going to
tell
manipulate
the truth
people.
We're going to manipulate people, we're going to conceal the truth, and we're going to keep them in the dark as the facade of their world comes shattering down on top of them.
We are going to use our dogma on these people however we see fit. And then you've got on the other side the Youth League, who wants open access to the history of this country. They embrace machines. They embrace people of different groups and different faiths. They embrace young people. They're really like this young progressive force. And the bad thing about them is they're too hot-headed.
Yeah, like when you have Paine and Riku spell out what each of the factions are, is like Riku makes a pretty painful point of like saying, well, it says Yevon right there in the title. It's like, yeah, you're right. It's almost as if the entire conceit of Final Fantasy X and the bullshit that we had to deal with was because of this corrupting religion.
Yes.
Like the game doesn't even take the time to like talk about how Noojie-Woojie has reformed the practices of Yevon, how it's outreached, had provided this outreach to this community, or why people continue to love their faith. It's just Noojie-Woojie is the religion, Youth League is the new progressive side, conservative versus liberal. It is that basic. It's that barren in terms of the characterization.
And the New Yevon representatives, most of them are old folk.
Yeah.
There are some old folk you can talk to. They're like, yeah, my son joined the youth league, and it's really driven a wedge between our family. And you've got like Donna and Bartello, where they are both on opposite sides of this divide. But Donna, they don't talk about like
why
they're
Donna sides with the youth league, why Bartello sided with New Yevon,
or really what it's doing to their relationship. It just says that it's now hard for us, but they don't, and they show them arguing, but they don't explain like why they couldn't have resolved their differences. They just say we have differences and we've learned to deal with it. And it just all of these interesting dichotomies that they present in Chapter 1 do not advance beyond their initial state. They just continue in stasis. Like, that's the thing. When I talk to you after Chapter 1, I'm like, I think I need to move this game up my list in terms of Final Fantasy games I really enjoy. That was because in Chapter 1, it showed all these promising dichotomies and different avenues that it might explore. The problem is, they don't change for 5 chapters. They are exactly the same. The Youth League doesn't get any deeper, doesn't get any more nuanced. New Yevon doesn't get any more nuanced or deeper. You pick a side, and then the side you pick likes you, the other side doesn't, but you don't, like, spend more time with the side that you picked. And if you do spend time with them and, like, talk to just the members of that group, they don't give you any deeper understanding than what the surface-level understanding was. And so you're just left with, I don't know, I'll pick this one because I agree with them slightly more, I guess.
Like, the only reason why you would go out of your way to see what New Yevon has to offer, let's be honest, is because you didn't see it the first time around. That's why you picked it. There's no in-game motivation for you to pick New Yevon, and the game tries to present this as being a legitimate moral choice. I do like the fact that I do have a choice, but that choice would be far more impactful, and I would feel more torn about it had the two sides been presented as each having legitimate claims about society.
I feel as if them more.
Yeah, develop them more. Like, have us do like one side quest for each to learn a little bit more about their history or what they're about. Like, Barreleye is a non-factor other than the one time you see him if you take the time to go to Bevelle and you find out, oh, he was arranged to marry Yuna, but it didn't work out.
Yeah.
But Nooj gets, 3 scenes where he's able to convey just his perspective and his understanding of the world of Sphera and what direction he wants to take it. This is not blind justice. This is not the scales of justice trying to find an even balance. This is, clearly they picked a side. The developers picked a side, and the only reason why you would pick the other side is because it's there.
Yeah, let me tell you this. When I picked New Yevon, Barreleye's like, oh, good work. The Youth League can't be, they're too hot-headed. They can't have this information. But Nooj, like, when you give it to him, he's like, let's advance Sphera. Like, we're going to build a new society together, one that's open and fair. It's like, what? Barreleye is not a compelling voice here.
No. And there might have been an interesting perspective to New Yevon. I feel like there was an interesting perspective.
There was an opportunity.
There was definitely an opportunity. But this game is at such a basic taxonomy level. It only wants you to remember the past. It only wants you to understand its new context. But it barely applies it in modern practice. But when it comes to creating its own narrative, having you evaluate or in the game evaluate information, it doesn't do that. And so it's a very bare bones, stripped down morality system or story arc.
Yeah, it tells you Saturday morning cartoon level, good guys, bad guys, or conservative, liberal. Other than that, it doesn't have much. And I will tell you, you made the right choice by picking the Youth League purely from a gameplay perspective, because the only way to get 100% in one playthrough is with Youth League. Not that you should do that. Don't do that.
I should totally get 100% in the game.
Don't do that. But 2, Mushroom Rock Road is a place you will return to. Bevelle is not one that you will return to often. So
I wanted to ask you, if you pick New Yevon, does that impact like the main quests, or does that just impact the like side quests? Like, did you do a different sequence of events in Guado Salam? Did you do a different sequence of events? Like, how did you do the whole like trying to find the shit in the bottom of the pit?
So in Mushroom Rock Road, when you go there, it just means that those people that escorted you attacked me. That's it. And then you can walk your way all the way up to the entrance of Mushroom Rock Road, but they will not let you into their base.
So they couldn't even be fucked to have legitimate in-game consequences to your choices.
There is a consequence. The consequence is you fight some dudes.
But the consequence is just purely mechanical. It's not narrative.
I did have to fight one of the Chocobo cavalry. But she's, like, when I beat her, she didn't die forever.
That's fucking depressing.
Yeah, but she doesn't, like, die. It's not as though defeating her changes the story at all.
No, I was saying that the game's lack of attention to detail is depressing.
Oh, okay. Okay, I was like, yeah, I felt bad about fighting the red Chocobo Knight, but yeah.
It's just, like I said, low taxonomy level. It had the opportunity to, like, stick its spear through our heartstrings in, like, the second hour of the game, but it didn't. It refused to. There was not enough attention. Well, there was not enough effort. There was no desire to put the effort to convey that narrative that we were looking for.
Well, to that I have to say, how low can you go? Can you go down low? How low can you go?
Cha-cha real smooth.
Cha-cha real smooth. Yeah. So
okay.
After that, LeBlanc robs the Celsius. She leaves behind a sphere saying, I robbed you guys. And then you have to go.
Why would you do that? You stole this stuff, and so clearly they're going to come back to try and take the stuff back. Why would you brag about it?
She's the evil Blitzball League. She's the evil Blitzball team. She's Cobra Kai. She has to brag. That's her role.
God damn it. I hate LeBlanc so goddamn much.
It's totally fair. She sucks.
Everything you do with... So remember when I said, like, this is the biggest pile of shit for the first 2 hours? Everything you do to try and get into LeBlanc's, like, Guado Salam, Seymour's old home, his like, chateau, is just the fucking... It's the shits. It's the drizzly shits of Final Fantasy X-2. It's just unrelentingly terrible.
That is an evocative image.
It's also insulting in a lot of ways. So the whole premise is that you try to get your shit back, and clearly you're not allowed to just run through the front door and beat shit up, even though that's been the prerogative of Yuna and Riku as well as Paine for 90% of the stories. We have no problem storming through Bevelle and wrecking shit up in New Yevon, this actual military force with soldiers with guns, but fuck. LeBlanc has 2 goons on the front door saying, we're not going to let you go through, and we have to go find 3 goddamn uniforms. Fucking what?
Yeah,
why?
You can't beat up these 2 goons. Okay, so why? Because you need to make ladies naked. You need to take their clothing.
God damn it. Just
That's why.
You remember the Don Corneo mission in Final Fantasy VII?
Yes.
That's what this reminded me of. It's just there for fan servicey bullshit. Very clearly for fan servicey bullshit. But it doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense. Like, every other time when we're presented with a barrier to our progress, there's no sleuthing. There's no active espionage. We literally just blow through the front door and kill people. That's what we did in Bevelle. That's what we did in the basement. And now we have to go pick up 3 goddamn uniforms, even though clearly when you go to Mount Gagazet or the fucking desert in Bikanel, there's more than 1 goddamn Shigun, and you can clearly strip more than 1 person, but I have to fucking go to 3 people and get 1 uniform each.
Yep.
And all those Shiguns are random encounters in the battles. Why don't you strip those motherfuckers?
No clue.
So I think the right sequence of events is Mount Gagazet for the uniform number 1. Uniform number 2 was, what was it? Goddamn fucking the Jose Temple? No, the High Road, or the Mushroom Rock Road.
Mushroom Rock Road.
And then Bikanel Desert for number 3. One of those is probably one of the grossest things I've seen in a Final Fantasy game. Well, we're actually going to get to the grossest, but one of the most grossest scenes I've seen. The other two are just fucking... They shotgunned a bunch of shit and called it a scene. Fucking Mount Gagazet. Just... meeting and talking to Kimahri was a lot of fun. Like learning about how he's having a difficult time being the elder of the Ronso, and the Ronso are basically in a period of like they're actually recovering rather nicely. There's like children Ronso, there's lady Ronsos. You see this culture trying to rebuild. I thought all of that was great. Talking to Kimahri is good. It was great. Then you find out that there's a bunch of fucking goons from LeBlanc's syndicate just wrecking shit up in the mountain. They're offending like practices of the Ronso. They're in parts of the world in Mount Gagazet that are sacred. You go up there, you see some goons messing around.
Gooning around.
They're gooning around. You have two options. You can either chase after the goon, and then you get a scene where you just fight and get the stuff. Or you can climb the mountain. And I'm going to pass things over to you because I got some things I want to say about this. Gino, what happens when you climb the mountain?
So when you climb the mountain, you get to the top of the mountain. And what's on the top of the mountain? Boobies. Your crew falls into this hot spring and scares the she-goons and Ormy out of the hot springs. And instead of going after them to take their outfits, your crew decides that now is a good time to have bath time in the hot springs.
Bubble bath, hot springs, fun time scene.
It becomes a Japanese onsen moment with the most... And this is one of the most anime moments I've seen in a video game in a good long time. And all of your characters suddenly materialize bathing suits, and then Riku basically goes around comparing bust size.
Each other's bust size. Like, she's clearly talking about tits, but translation, you don't really know for a fact she's talking about tits.
Yep.
And they fucking just... It's... Gina, how old are these characters? Riku's younger, right? She's like 16.
She was. She is now probably, I think it's 2 years later?
Oh,
right?
God damn it. I swear to God, I'm just going to put this out there. If one of you fuckers says, but the age of consent in Japan is 14, I'm going to find you. I'm going to burst through your goddamn computer screen, and I'm going to punch you in the face.
Yeah, and
shank the shit out of you.
If you're listening via headphones, he'll have tiny needles that come out of your earbuds and into your eardrums.
Fucking fuck you up. But anyways, it's so gross. It's like
age
you said,
isn't the thing. It's just the ogling.
It's
like
the ogling.
In this game,
it's the fact that this scene is in service of showing parts of the female figure and trying to get a carnal reaction out of the audience. And there are animes that I like that have beach episodes or hot springs episodes, onsen episodes. Those are always my least favorite part because there's no progression to the story. They should be chasing after those Shigoons, stripping them naked, and taking their shit. But here they are just fucking lounging around, completely forgetting the whole purpose of the purpose why they're here. And the worst part, Gino, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't Kimahri say that this is a holy mountain that Ronso are sworn to protect with their goddamn lives?
He does say that. He says that.
So
Yes.
They're fucking hypocrites. They're goddamn just having a bubble bath, talking about tits, while some awkward hypelos are also swimming in the background. That's real weird.
Those hypelos they're getting theirs.
They're getting theirs. And just... Well, first off, I'm glad that Riku and the characters wear not horribly revealing bikinis. They're still revealing, but they covered a decent portion of their bodies. So at least it's not
by
that
anime
creepy.
standards.
But yeah, like you said, just the camera has establishing shots on tits and ass, TNT, and TNA. And just the purpose of the scene is to get this carnal reaction out of the audience. Remember, Gino, maybe you forgot. Remember how like fucking Final Fantasy X was about altruism and sacrifice, and how 50% of that story is this kind of blasé, happy-go-lucky adventure, but then the other half of the game is like coming to terms with death?
Yep, I remember that.
Remember the morbidity of Yuna willing to sacrifice her life, and Titus and Riku like desperately trying to prevent her from doing that?
Yeah, I was there.
Remember the fucking ending to Final Fantasy X, and how it's just this hot cocktail of tears, sadness, and just catharsism?
Catharsis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
The fuck happened?
Not that. Where are we? Where'd that go?
The fuck?
I don't know, man.
The fuck?
And I just want to go on the record. I don't think there's anything necessarily intrinsically wrong with having a fun bathhouse scene. I don't think there's anything intrinsically wrong with that. I do think that there's a problem with it when you have it. It's not like these characters went on vacation. Yeah. It's not like these characters were on a fun adventure that they all signed up for.
They have a mission they need to do, and they are in the sacred land of the Ronso.
Of your best friend, one of your best friends. The person who raised Yuna since she was a child. He's the elder of this land, and they're having a bath party. It's just really out of place. It's super out of place, and that's the central problem with it, is that it's just there. It is as flimsy a pretext for getting these girls into bikinis as it could possibly be. And other thing that I find very funny about this scene is that the bikinis and the bathing suits are actually more conservative and more modest than most of the outfits they wear.
Like, look at Paine's thief outfit and compare that with her bathing suit.
It's not that different.
But like, look at Riku's regular outfit and then look at her bathing suit. It covers more skin if you take out her arms. If you fucking take a machete and you hack off Riku's arms, it covers more of her body.
Yep. Yeah, this scene's gross. It's really out of place. It's not the most... Yeah. I would say it's the most out of place gross scene in the whole game.
Oh, I don't know. I think there's one coming up that's even worse.
I don't think it's as out of place. I think that this scene is really out of place. Like, the Hypelos in the background, it's weird. And then you rob these other two places of... you liberate these other two ladies of their clothing. And on these missions, two of them at least, you get the special dress spheres for Yuna and Riku. And so that's what allows you to unlock, I think, the most broken thing mechanically in this game, which is the special dress spheres. They are dress spheres that you can use when you traverse the entire sphere grid with a given character, at which point you can activate their special their special dress sphere, which turns them into a super-powered version of whoever they are. So, like, Riku's super dress sphere is a gigantic machina that she rides on.
Fucking cool. But she's, like, wearing, like, the Zero-Suit Samus outfit, but at least, it kind of makes sense.
It's the most conservative of the outfits. Then each of the... Yuna turns into a giant...
Yuna turns into basically Beyonce.
Yeah, she flies
am I crazy for thinking that? She looks like goddamn Beyonce.
She definitely looks like she has a wind machine. I'll say that much.
And Paine's final dress sphere or special dress sphere is just the goddamn worst fucking thing.
It's so weird. She's like in her
bra and panties, commanding a robot suit that's just
made of swords and
feathers. What did you say? This is Final Fantasy X-2 is Tetsuya Nomura at his worst?
Yes.
That fucking special dress sphere. Goddamn.
Yeah. So
where's the belts?
There are belts on it too. It's held together. It's swords and feathers held together by belts. So these dress spheres, the reason why I say that they're the most broken mechanical thing in the game is that when you activate a special dress sphere, it kicks the other two characters out of the battle.
Which you would think is a disadvantage.
Yeah, you would think so. But actually you gain two other units, basically, that are made up of the special dress sphere. So the robot that Riku is riding has 3 sections. Riku and then 2 arm cannons, basically. Paine has 2 wings and then her main body. Yuna has herself and then 2 little flower pistols. So, it essentially... And you get a huge HP bump. Like, your
Massive.
HP will go from, like, a couple hundred to a couple thousand.
And not only that, but there's usually one part, one arm, or one portion of your special dress sphere that can restore MP and HP without consequence.
Yeah, without cost. So there will usually be at least one healing section of the special dress sphere. You'll generally have a revival section, and the base moves of each element of the sphere tend to have
massive damage
spells.
Output. And also, you get all of the status effects with at least one of your arms or portions of your special dress sphere. You get all of the status effects. So even if this boss is immune to one, they're not going to be immune to everything. And so you can very immediately change the course of the battle by using like 2 or 3 of your arms.
However, you will probably be immune to every status effect.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
The special dress sphere makes you immune to a bunch of them. And so the effect is you kick 2 of your party members out, and then you replace them with 2 far more effective party members that have way higher life. And if you should happen to die during the special dress sphere, if the main character dies, they die, but the other 2 characters just run back into the fight, which means you reduce your risk of wiping
to 1/3.
Yeah, substantially. Not just 1/3. You can't lose when that one character dies. Like, the other 2 characters run in and their ATBs just pick up where they left off, which means you are essentially, if you know a big attack is coming, using your special dress sphere will essentially allow you to sacrifice one character to save the other 2. Whereas if you had just tried to play it straight up, you might lose.
What is even more insane is the fact that the game gives you a garment grid which incentivizes you using the special dress sphere. What was it? The Enduring Path?
Yeah, it's just got 2 slots.
It just has 2 slots. So the whole idea that these special dress spheres are you experimenting with the garment grid or hopping across like a 5-point or 6-point garment grid is bullshit. All you need to do is you need to find the one that only has 2 spots, and you can set up one of your characters to always be able to summon their special dress sphere.
Yeah. The only downside with the special dress spheres is that if you win with a special dress sphere,
only
the
one
other
person
2
gets
characters do not get experience, which is, that kind of sucks. That's kind of a punishment. But you know what?
Not really.
To beat most of these bosses, whatever. Who cares? Deuces. Like, it's fine. It's really okay.
And the special dress spheres even have their own leveling system. They even have their own abilities that you gain and learn by using them more.
Yeah, they level up like every other dress sphere, and so the more you use them, the more powerful they become. I found that in my first playthrough of this game, the Paine special dress sphere was the strongest because one of these side wings will buff your attack.
Buff all your attacks and like a
stacks.
Standard attack. Yeah, it stacks up to like 8 or 10, and you will hit like 1,000 points of damage during a stage. This is chapter 2. You shouldn't be hitting for that hard.
You should hit for like a couple, maybe 1 or 2.
Like a lot of the bosses are less than 2,000 HP points.
Yeah. And Riku's, I found her dress sphere, she's almost unkillable because each of her shoulder pads can heal.
She hits softer, but she's unkillable.
Yeah. Both of her shoulder pads can heal, and she can revive each of them. So each of the sections can just keep the other ones alive. And both of her shoulder pads can attack with a pretty good physical attack, whereas Paine and Yuna each have one section of their, basically, body or whatever, one section of their special dress sphere that is not offensively inclined. Riku's always have a baseline of power. But at the end of the day, pick whichever one you want.
Yeah, pick whichever one you want because they're all going to be powerful. Just the structure of the story during this portion of the time I found absolutely killer. Just a soul-wrenching gut punch because the game cannot even be fucked to provide original bosses or enemy designs. You're looking at the same flans, the same elementals, a lot of the same enemies from Final Fantasy X. So there's no sense of discovery. There's no sense of like newness to your adventures. It's just the same fucking shit. And when I was trying to get the uniforms, and if you play Final Fantasy X-2, and you get to this portion, you just fight Ormi and Logos like 3 times, and you keep fighting them in the story. And I'm so sick and tired of this game reusing the same bosses, because like half of these bosses are the same characters.
Yeah, and they're not. It's not like when you refight them, they get new abilities, and it's an interesting new battle with Logos and Ormi. They have the same moves from when they did the first time you fought them in Chapter 1. You fight them like 5 times.
The only thing they really changed, and I noticed this, and I was like, you know what? If it adds a little bit more difficulty, I'm not going to complain about it, is like they sometimes become immune to certain status effects during certain boss battles.
But that's completely normal, because the further you get into a game, generally they get more immunities to status effects. That's not a huge thing.
But that is it. I mean, you see what? Ormi and Logos in Chapter 2? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fucking times, because you fight them in LeBlanc's place twice. You fight them twice, and you fight them 3 times on 2 occasions separately, but that's the same goddamn thing. You fight them 5 goddamn times.
Yeah. You fight them more times in Chapter 2 than you fought characters like the Turks and characters like Raijin and Fujin. You fight them. You fight
Wait
these
a minute.
goons.
I'm looking at this.
These shitty goons more times than you fight iconic like villain groups from earlier
Gino,
games.
I'm looking at the list of the bosses for Chapter 2. They're all reskins or rehashes of shit you've either seen in Final Fantasy X or Chapter 1. You got LeBlanc and Ormi and Logos. You fight them 4 or 5 fucking times. And then the other 2 bosses you fight are reskin palette swaps of bosses from Final Fantasy X. And they're even depowered and easier.
Yep. They removed all of the unique mechanics.
This is the cheapest ass design I've ever seen. Fucking, now I'm thinking about the side quests. One of the side quests, you even fight the Chocobo monster.
Yeah.
The same goddamn Chocobo monster.
Yep. They reuse all of it. Like, they use all parts of the buffalo.
So, like, if the game's trying to present this new and developing world, it fucking fails. Yes. No, thank you, sir. Good day. Good day to you, sir.
So before we go to the end of Chapter 2, let's breeze through the side quests.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Sade Island has that jackass where you have to do the fucking gunner minigame, and that minigame is so bad. Fuck me.
The shooting minigame's terrible.
Oh my god. And he's like talking about how he wants to see you do it again, but in different environments. Oh my god. How many points did you get? How many points did
Enough
you
to shut him up.
I got 900, and it was like, oh, but there's one more item. If you get 1,000, it's like deuces.
I beat 1,000, but the whole time I was like, how many points do I want to get? Because I could get any number. Because you get, at a certain point, I was just in a loop where enemies are constantly respawning, and when you kill the regular enemy, you get normal bullets. Then when you kill another enemy, you get kind of like a shotgun bullet that hits multiple enemies. There's a death bullet that will auto-kill something.
That's real good.
Yeah, of course it is. And so I was just constantly thinking, okay, do I even want this ammo? At one point, I stacked up so many treasure chests that my character, that Yuna was not opening the right one.
No.
I couldn't open them.
I had them, like, phase out of existence if there were certain...
Yeah, that also sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, it was... I just was standing on one screen watching as enemies respawned, and I just gunned them down over and over and over again. It's a bad minigame. You don't get a great reward for doing it, but whatever.
Well, my percentage goes up if I keep playing it.
Yep. So
Luca was kind of fun. Talking to Shalinda, being interviewed was kind of fun. I like the part where brother... What's the other guy? Not Shinra. African American? Buddy. Okay, Buddy. Yeah. I like when they interrupt the interview and they're just being crazy, and Shalinda's like clearly like, get the fuck out of here. I'm interviewing Yuna. That's fun. I'm a man that's easy to please. And so when I saw Shalinda, a character I felt actually developed over the course of 10. Like, learning why she is a reporter I liked it. I quite enjoyed it.
Well, what was her rationale for being a reporter?
She hated being bossed around by Yevon, and people wanted her to take up a greater role in Yevon, but she's more of a follower rather than a leader. And then they kind of make the funny quip. It's like she complained about being bossed around, but now she's taking just as many orders by being a reporter. Da 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 da. The fucking minigame or the side quest in the Mi'ihen High Road is dog shit.
Yep.
Getting the chocobo, just like all the times that you see these characters and it's like, hey, do you remember me? It's like, I always select, yeah, I do, because the amount of dialogue you get from that character is less. That's where I've gotten.
That's where you're at?
That's where I'm at. Is I'll pick, like, yes, I know who you are. Fucking don't give me an encyclopedic diatribe on fucking this one obtuse or obscure scene. And then you have to get this girl a chocobo, and of course she fucks up. So an evil monster that's a chocobo eater comes up to her and is chasing after you. I guess I kind of like Clasco, whatever the fuck his name is.
Yeah, the chocobo breeder guy.
But I have no goddamn interest in getting him all his chocobos.
Yep.
I was kind of excited about how, oh, hey, I'm recruiting all these people to join my journey. Oh, hey, the bridge is getting more populated with new people. It's kind of like, it's maybe I'm creating this team and I have to lead this team through this journey. And it's kind of like filling up the Normandy in Mass Effect. Nope.
Yeah. Nope. It's just like that.
Nope.
No. You can't talk to any of those people.
You can't talk to those people. They say the same shit over and over again. There's no progression with their story arc. Well, I guess Clasco and Kali.
It is eerie how much this game is like a shadow version of the Normandy in Mass Effect. Because there is a bridge. Yeah. There are these different sections of the ship you can go to. In each section, there are people that hang out specifically in that section. There are some characters you can talk to, and they'll say slightly different things the further you get in the game. And I want to know if Final Fantasy X-2 inspired the Mass Effect developers. What an eerie thought that would be.
I thought we've already recorded a podcast about the game that provided the inspiration for Mass Effect. It's Jade Empire.
Yeah, but I want to see an interview where they're like, well, we played Final Fantasy X-2, and we were like,
you want to believe.
But better.
Oh, we forgot one thing. In Luca, I played like 2 hours of Sphere Break.
Oh no. Why would you do that?
Because I'm already playing the Final Fantasy trading card game, and I wanted to convince myself that it was fun. Sphere Break was fun.
It's not. It's a math problem.
It's a fucking math problem. Like, well, goddamn can't believe it. It's like,
guess who's got a lot more Sphere Break in their future?
Yeah, isn't there the fucking important dress sphere to get in Chapter 3 if you play Sphere Break?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Dress sphere.
Oh, great. Oh, man. Man.
Good. You've got all this practice. You're going to be so good at it.
I'm trying to find that triple triad rush. I'm trying to find that rush.
We'll find that rush after this podcast when we play the Final Fantasy trading card game.
You have to sell a bunch of bullshit tickets to Tolby. I like Tolby. I like how he talks like the FedEx guy that spoke real fast in the commercials. I
like how he's a scammer.
Yeah.
And how he owes people money.
He owes people money. And sometimes he's on your ship because he's got to hide. It's like, oh, wait, don't we already have a scammer that's on our ship?
Yep. We are helping debtors escape.
I like the developing story arc where he's trying to sell people shit and he never goes through with it. Like he's I'm trying to host this party, this giant concert. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. When is it going to happen? Oh, wait, I see where the game's going with this. It's never going to happen.
He's the Don King of the Final Fantasy X-2 universe.
That's great. That's a great way to put it.
He's just walking around promoting. This is going to be the biggest concert anyone's ever seen. Greatest concert.
I always thought that the Moonflow was one of the more visually striking levels in the game, and I'm glad to see that it's mostly intact.
I mean, the screens look exactly the same in almost every location.
But all the characters there kind of were always there, so I don't feel like it's raining on something that I believe is beautiful, unlike a different location.
Which one?
Xanarkand.
Oh, Xanarkand, yeah.
I went to the Thunder Plains. I found Sid. He was moping about, and I think that's funny. It's like he's fucking bankrupt. We're gonna laugh at him. Ha 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 ha. And I tried to calibrate the towers, and I fucking gave up. Is there any reason why I should calibrate those towers other than maybe like a garment grid? If there's a dress sphere, I'll try harder, but calibrating those goddamn towers is so painful. Like
there's
are really
a dress
small.
sphere.
There's a dress sphere.
No. There's not a dress sphere. There's, I think, a good item. I don't think there's anything super essential there. The only thing that was useful for me was the Thunder Plains were a good place to grind, and at one point I found myself underleveled.
Yeah.
And so I just grinded there.
I feel like that's another important thing. If you don't do the side quests, you are so critically underleveled for the story missions or the critical path that the game wants you to follow. And what's really bad is there are points of no return at the end of every chapter. They're not clearly marked, and every single side quest that you didn't do is dead forever when you transition to practically everyone is dead forever when you transition from one chapter to the next. That's fucked. Like, I get why they did it, is there's this sense of progression with the greater world, but when you don't communicate that, hey, going to these other locations is an important part, it's 70% of the game, that's irresponsible game design. Like, what if the critical path took me to a few more locations and then instilled a sense of obligation that I should be exploring the world outside of the main story? That would have been fine. But fuck. It just highlights how empty this game is. And what's really insulting is how there are side quests that I really liked. And they contributed developing character arcs, developing character moments that I think were better than some of the stuff that's attempted in the main story. Like, whenever I'm talking to Lulu and Waka, that's some of the best shit in the game. Whenever I go to Macalania Forest or the Macalania Woods, there's some cool shit there. And like talking to Kimari and trying to find the people who are trying to find his broken horn, that's really cool.
Yep.
It's like contrite. It's just stupid that I have to fucking chase after these goddamn kids all over the world and I can only do it once a chapter. But man, there's like parts of the side quests that are really good. The only thing that I think is weak, when you go to the Macalania Woods, you have to keep finding those goddamn musicians, and they keep talking about, oh, we're going to die. God, the woods are going to disappear. We're all going to die. The woods are dying. It's like, well, can we help? Is there anything we can do to address this problem?
Nope. They're just going to keep complaining about the woods dying for the next 3 chapters. I hate them so much.
There was a real great opportunity to like show consequences to getting rid of all the Aeons, getting rid of all the Unsent. Nope. The Comlands have the whole Klosko story arc that the arena is gone. You can populate it with chocobos. And Gino, I am openly questioning whether or not I should do any more of Klosko's horseshit.
I didn't do any of it. I didn't do any of Waka stuff. I didn't do most of this stuff because one of the weird things about these side quests is that for a game that has a pretty compelling combat system, if a bit obtuse and a little janky in spots, most of the side quests are weird one-off mini-games that have nothing to do with any of that stuff. Yeah, that's the other thing. And this thing that you're gated by for story progression is your efficacy with the combat system, and yet most of the side quests give you very little in the way of experience or like both experience in terms of gameplay, like your resource experience, but also actual physical experience. So you learn how to play this game better.
Yeah.
It unlike most games which give you side quests that skew you towards different play styles and letting you explore more of the game's core systems, this game just drags you into a bunch of one-off nonsense that isn't very fun.
Cookie cutter dungeons. Like dungeon in the goddamn dungeon arena looks the same goddamn thing like the first dungeon, and then you're gonna see that same fucking sandstone brick looking dungeon 8 or 9 times in the goddamn game, and the same corridors and dead ends, and just it's fucked. It's so totally fucked.
Yeah, it's not great, I will say.
And what's really weird is, yeah, you're right that the side quests don't incentivize your use of probably the one nugget of gold in this shit sandwich, this one small piece of bacon in this BLT, this shitty BLT. But that's the combat system. The dress sphere system has its moments.
Yeah. That's the shame of it.
But here's the thing, is these non-combat oriented side quests are the way you unlock more dress spheres, more garment grids, stronger abilities, stronger items. You don't gain them from combat or your use of this novel combat system. So it's a real weird message the game is sending me. Oh yeah, here's all this fucking cool shit that you get, but we're not going to let you practice that in these side quests that are 70% of the game. You're going to have to do that whenever you're like fighting shit or random encounters in between the missions. Which, I don't know. I kind of like the combat system, but I just got to the point where it's like, oh, fuck, I don't want to. I'm going to equip the item that says encounter none.
Yeah, and you should. It's really good. I will say, just as a larger meta commentary on the Final Fantasy series, it's kind of it's a bad sign that every game, the moment you gain access to the encounter none ability, it becomes a better game. Now, that doesn't mean that the combat systems are always bad. It is that they are always overused.
Sure.
And many of the encounters are not worth having. And if they had just thinned it out to just the best combat encounters and left a lot of stuff on the cutting room floor,
sure,
I think these games would have been better off for it.
But maybe that's what their philosophy was in this game, is maybe people are going to get tired of using this, so we'll just have all these one-off mini-games. We'll have these non-combat oriented sequences in our game. But I know what your rebuke is. It's 70% of the game. And also, you talk to these characters, you listen to their stories, and I like in Fallout and a lot of CRPGs, as well as JRPGs that have non-combat oriented missions, so long as it is in service of a different mechanic, like increasing your speech, your luck, or like increasing a skill within the game. These just are presented as like one-off set pieces that aren't reinforced in the greater narrative. Like actually accomplishing anything in the story, all it is in service of increasing your percentage rating, which will, in theory, give you a better ending. But you don't even know that your first time around. So it's just you doing all this horseshit for the sake of it, and sometimes it's compelling stuff like what you see in Besaid or Xanarkin. Other times you're shooting fucking wolves in the face 100 times because there's a guy who's a jackass to Yuna, which makes no goddamn sense. She fucking saved your ass from this giant space whale, you son of a bitch. But probably the most painful side quest is making a bunch of monkeys fuck in the Xanarkin ruins.
Yeah. Did you make the monkeys fuck?
I made all the monkeys fuck.
Did you get anything out of that?
I got Soul of Thamasa.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even that great of an item because it doubles your damage output for magic attacks, but there's 2 problems to that. One, it increases the cost by 2 times, by double, which in the early portions of the game, that's not good.
Yeah, it means I can cast 1 spell.
And ethers aren't exactly easy to come by. It's great that the save spheres restore your MP, but they're not. There's usually only one per locale.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of naked phoenixes running around, stripped of their feathers, and it seems like some mad scientist has left a bajillion potions in every treasure chest, but ethers, for some reason, are scarce. They're the one scarce generic item.
And just, I put in all this time and effort to do what the game wants me to do. And I'm just,
these monkeys fuck.
And I'm just rewarded with these cookie cutter dungeons, these fucking time-consuming mini games. Like, making the monkeys fuck isn't hard. It just sucks up so much goddamn time. Because you got to run back and forth between these sections. And, of course, there's transitional scenes. There are loading screens. It's just fucking such a waste of goddamn time. Thank God we're playing this on the PC, because I can only imagine what the load times were on the PS2. Fuck. This fucking game, Gino. So I guess that's basically all. I mean, did I miss any side quests? I think that's everything. The one thing I will say about the side quests is, like, you get sphere grids, and you get so many of them that I feel overwhelmed. Like, I'm still using, like, the first couple of sphere grids I got in the beginning moments of the game. And there's so many of them, and they're so convoluted sometimes. You really don't have a full, good breadth of knowledge to work with in terms of what the advantages or disadvantages. There's no easy way to compare two sphere grids. Or I'm not sphere grids, like just garment grids between each other. And it's like, oh, this one's clearly better. They don't increase your stats. It's just, oh, I can put 6 things here, and sometimes when I swap in between these things, I'll cast a spell, which sometimes isn't helpful because there will be elemental enemies that are immune or will absorb that damage. So, fuck. And sometimes I cast Reflect on myself, so actually being able to cast Kiraga isn't a good thing. It's just, There's way too many garment grids, and because there are so many, you really don't feel emotionally invested or mechanically invested in any of them. And what is really unfortunate is you get so many from doing just these benign side quests that it's this positive feedback loop, like you talked about during our Jade Empire podcast, is, oh, wow, you did an amazing thing. Here's some cool things. Like, you're constantly rewarded. You can't just save this little girl from being eaten by this monster, and people are like, thank you so much. You have to get this new cool shit. You get patted on the back, and sometimes the characters refer to it, and they just think you're amazing. There's no low-stakes missions. There's no low-stakes side quests like in Final Fantasy X or even Final Fantasy IX. It's like they forgot, like, this entire portion to my enjoyment or your enjoyment or anyone's enjoyment of the Final Fantasy format.
Yeah, this game has a lot of just unnecessary filler. And it's weird because this game it's light. I understand why they put filler because there's not a lot here, but the type of filler is just baffling. It's like they suddenly had a glut of minigame developers and not RPG developers, and I don't get it. But what can you do? So I think we've gone over most of the side quests.
Yeah, we went over most of the side quests. You get these 3 uniforms. It's kind of funny to see
the Mouth of Madness.
It's kind of funny to see the characters wear those in the ship, and like you're talking to Paine, and she's saying, this fucking uniform's really itchy. And then you go into the chateau, and probably the worst goddamn scene in the game happens.
Yep, so it turns out LeBlanc is real stressed out because Noojie-Woojie,
she's got a man crush on Nooj.
Not a man crush.
A deep, fiery love for Nooj, so much so that she has a golden statue of him in her room, so as that she can fawn over it and just make these like sighs, these impassioned romantic sighs.
Oh, Noojie.
It's like whenever she talks about Nooj, it's just, Gino, am I crazy in saying that I think the dialogue and writing for Final Fantasy II is just 10 steps below Final Fantasy X?
Yes, the the quality of writing in Final Fantasy II is worse than Final Fantasy X. However, I think Final Fantasy X-2 is also far worse than Final Fantasy X. And I would say Final Fantasy X-2 probably worse than Final Fantasy II. It's pretty bad writing.
Thanks for being this sarcastic asshole.
That's my role. That's what I'm here for.
You son of a bitch.
I would say X-2, maybe it's just me, but I think when LeBlanc is fawning over the Nooj statue and talking about Noojie-Woojie, I just am tickled. I really enjoy her fawning over her statue and her man because it gives her a dimension beyond being the leader of Cobra Kai. And it's a shitty dimension.
But it's
still
the
bad.
It's the fucking classic trope of when in doubt, if you have a female character, have her desire a man.
Someone. Yep. Yeah. But which man she fawns over, I feel, is I mean, it's not that important, but it's more layers than I thought she would get. Not that many more, but one more layer than I thought she would get. And so, she's been fawning over Noojie, but Noojie-Woojie's gone missing.
Uh-huh.
And so you need to relieve her stress. She's so stressed. How are you going to relieve her stress, though? Oh, I know. A massage.
Fuck!
No. A massage.
Oh, yeah,
Not...
I guess. Ha, 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 ha. God, this is one of the worst minigames I've ever seen. God, this minigame is bad. Holy shit.
It's like Minesweeper.
It's Minesweeper, but with a 3x3 grid, so it's not even that difficult.
Yes. It is Minesweeper, but also tic-tac-toe.
And because you're trying to massage her body when you hit the red one and transition to the next grid, she just makes the most fucking grody ass size, and she animates in the way where she looks like she's like coitus.
Yep.
It's just the grossest fucking shit. Like the hot spring scene is certainly out of place.
Yep.
But it is, and I think you're right. This is LeBlanc being her, LeBlanc being LeBlanc. So certainly maybe this isn't out of place, but I just felt so much grosser. I felt dirty playing this. I felt like I was playing a pornographic visual novel game.
Yeah. You're giving
a massage
your villains a rub down in her room.
And she's making these orgasmic sighs that are just downright pornographic sometimes. And I'm not trying to be a prude. I hope I don't come across as a prude because Gino knows this. I have a high tolerance for this kind of nonsense. I have probably a higher tolerance for this kind of nonsense than Gino. But it is not good. Mechanically, the minigame is bad. And we have to remember, we're supposed to be infiltrating this base to steal a sphere. We're supposed to get our shit back. And we're just rubbing down
your rival.
Blanc. Does that build her character? We kind of learn about how she has the hots for Nooj. That's it. That's her whole dynamic, is she's trying to steal shit to impress Nooj. That is her character arc. That's the reason why she's so driven, is she needs to get her man on. Just, oh my God. And what's even fucking worse, and I blew a goddamn gasket. You finally rub her down. You get like 30 fucking points of pleasure onto LeBlanc. She falls asleep. And they tell you to fucking go off and switch the thing, and then the thing and the thing. And then they take off their goddamn uniforms, blow their cover because they forget to turn their intercom to brother. And someone forgot to tell brother they're on this covert mission.
But why would they even take their disguises off?
Why did they take their disguises off? The whole point is they don't want to get caught. They want to steal the shit and go. So they wore their intercom. They wore their communique. They wore their little telecom or telephone. And they took their uniforms off, get caught, have to fight Ormi and Logos 2 or 3 times, and now the world that in Chateau LeBlanc is full of random encounters that could have been easily avoided. It's plot by convenience, probably the most painful plot by convenience I have seen since Final Fantasy VIII, and that is saying much.
I was about to say, the infiltration mission in this game makes Final Fantasy VIII's missile base infiltration mission look like Shakespeare.
Looks like Shakespearean or like fucking Ambrosian poetry.
It makes Selphie look like James Bond. Selphie like smooth talking her way around all of these different soldiers and convincing them that she is a fellow soldier, versus this shit where you walk in, give a lady a massage, and then blow your cover.
Okay. So you mentioned Shakespeare. Shakespeare said something that I feel is like my modus operandi. Brevity is the soul of wit. And our dear listeners, if you don't know what that means, it means don't waste my goddamn time. So if the whole point of going to Chateau LeBlanc and picking up those 3 uniforms was you wanted to have this covert mission, don't make the characters lose the fucking espionage mission within 10 minutes. Because that means all of the time and effort I went through for the last 2 goddamn hours was fucking for nothing. Thank you for wasting my time, Final Fantasy X-2. Thank you for fucking honoring the amount of time and effort I went to get these uniforms, and now they fucking mean nothing. You can't even use them as a fucking dress sphere. They're gone forever. God. Do you want to know how Final Fantasy X-2 really makes me feel?
Poor.
Yeah, it makes me feel like I need to talk to someone about my feelings so as that I'm not an angry person anymore. And like I said, what does it culminate with? It culminates with another goddamn fight with LeBlanc, Ormi, and Logos. And like at this point, you've been fighting Ormi and Logos 3 times. You fought them 3 times prior to this. And you even remember how you go into their room and you see a special Crimson Sphere and you have to fight them in their room. And this is probably one of the more botched storylines, is the fact that Ormi and Logos, we forgot to talk about this as well, is like the mystery to Paine. Throughout the game, throughout your adventures, you start to develop like, oh, Paine has this mysterious story arc, and she's got knowledge about New Yevon and Yevon more so than the other characters, or in ways that you wouldn't expect. And you see this video footage whenever you get one of these, Crimson Spheres of like this like paramilitary group just murdering people, and like Paine clearly was a member of this group. It's like so painfully obvious she was a part of this mysterious organization that Ormi and Logos were also a part of. And it's like there's no nuance. Like you see Nooj in the underground portion of the Mushroom Rock, and he's like, "Oh, pleasure meeting you." It's like, "Oh, hey, Paine and Nooj. Nooj was a crusader. I bet she was a special crusader. I bet you Paine has some sort of dark backstory related to Yevon.
Yep.
I bet you she's gonna fucking have to confront her past at some point.
Or have a past, or have a characterization of any kind.
Fucking anything.
Please.
And I already know what it is."
You do?
No, yeah, I think there's some sort of fucking secret underground organization, a la Dirge of Cerberus.
Oh no, not Deep Ground.
Yeah, Deep Underground. So...
Well, that's it for Chapter 2, I think, right?
No, absolutely not. We have to go to Bevelle, and we have to fucking go through the horseshit of Bevelle.
Oh, right, fuck. I forgot about that.
How can you forget about Bevelle? It's like half of the fucking chapter.
Know. I forgot. I helped you with that, too. How did I forget about that?
It's really bad. Well, okay.
Oh, so you find out that Nooj was at Bevelle, and then
there's this giant
Logos
robot.
and Ormi and LeBlanc join your squad, and you go to Bevelle and you break in, and then you get into the basement and you fight your way through the fucking Bevelle temple, and that sucks.
Oh god, it's so bad.
It's not that bad because there's no puzzle.
Long.
But it just,
just
longer.
Oh, there's no puzzle?
No, there's
no
puzzle.
The fuck you say?
Temple. In the temple, there's no puzzle. In the old temple.
Yeah.
But then you go
It's the worst
lower.
temple in the game, so of course we have to revisit it.
You go lower. You go deeper.
And there's this subterranean city that somehow Yevon was able to conceal. Like, never a sinkhole developed in Bevelle. No one ever took the time to search the sewers. And it's literally Final Fantasy X-2 has a hole in its plot. And so what do? They dig another hole to put that hole into. So you have hole-on-hole action. They literally dig a hole where all the new shit that we have to fight and confront was living all along. All of the things that are going to be our antagonists, all of the bad shit is literally underground. It's just fucking been hiding there for centuries and never surfaced itself during the course of Final Fantasy X. There was all the bad shit was underground. And now
these secret giant Machina weapons, no one used them against Sin for the last 1,000 years.
Not only that, but there's all these corrupted aeons. There's all this fucking bad shit underground, and it was just contained when Sin was here. But now, fucking all this ghost shit is here.
And so you go down there. I can't
fucking believe they couldn't goddamn think. Like, I don't know what's worth. Either this or having aliens invade the planet and we need to fight the aliens.
I think that'd be pretty bad too, but this isn't good either. So
you
pick your poison.
You're fighting with. So the whole point is you want to find Barrel-Eye so as that you can kidnap him and force him to tell you where Vegnagun is. Is that their fucking plan?
Yeah, they want to find out where Vegnagun
Noojie
is.
And the fucking Youth League are experts in technology they've never seen before. So they're somehow going to gain access to Vegnagun, use it, and prevent it from going wildly out of control and wrecking shit left and right. So there's this evil robot that's been just hiding underneath in the ground. Just sleeping. While Sin was destroying everything for 2,000 years. Just this horrible robot that never got used, never awakened. But fucking now, it got woken up.
Yep. And so you get down there, and you fight. You walk through some towers, and then you fight the Guardian from the Xanarkin Temple, and it's a
They changed the name of it, but fucking I know that this is the Spectral Keeper from Final Fantasy X. Don't you fucking call this the Precepts Guard. I know your true name.
Yep. And
he's a real fucker. He's not an easy boss. Oddly enough, the boss fight with the combined LeBlanc, Ormi, and Logos battle is actually really tough because they have that special Delta attack where they all use each other and they put you in a tornado and they shoot you real hard. But so Gino, this is where normally you would beat the evil dragon monster. You would go down into the catacombs, you would find Barrel-Eye, you would fight, you would eat cake, tea, and
get
crumpets.
The Dark Knight Sphere. It's important to get the Dark Knight Sphere.
Because it's the most broken thing in the game. But I decided, because I mentioned this during the live stream, I would be playing Chapter 2 twice. Because there were certain
you
items.
Hate yourself.
Yeah, well, also that. I hate myself. But there were certain items I did not acquire, certain dress spheres I did not acquire, which honestly I'm glad I have the Alchemist dress sphere because that's pretty cool. Mix is super powerful. Mix is always powerful. Always go for the Alchemist or Chemist class or dress.
They're always broken.
Fucking always get Chemist. Always have Mix in your abilities. It's broken. It's awesome. The only problem is that in Final Fantasy X-2, I feel like it doesn't drop you enough items to make use of Mix effectively or as effectively as Mix in Final Fantasy X. But whatever, it's still great. Yeah. So there are two portions of this dungeon that broke me. And very literally broke my soul and spirit in a way that made me not want to ever play this game ever before. The first time was during the live stream when I tried to get the Black Mage dress sphere. And if you watch that live stream, don't, because at some point I think I'm whimpering in pain as I get lost in the dungeon. I feel like, I don't know. Gino, do you think it's good design to hide such cool and awesome stuff with such Byzantine design?
So the ribbon and the Dark Knight dress sphere?
Yes, as just two examples.
Yeah, I think that. So the real problem I have with this is that there's no signposting, there's no iconography, there's no reason to think that treasure chest
even exists.
The Dark Knight dress sphere would. Well, there's reason to know it exists. There's no reason to think it has a dress sphere in it. Up until now, there's been plenty of chests that are hard to get to that just have 5 Phoenix Downs in it.
4 potions.
17 high potions. And so when you see it, you might think, oh, it's just a treasure chest. Why do I care? And inside of it is the best dress sphere in the game, or one of the best dress spheres in the game. Or, oh, they tell you to go through these blue towers, but if you go through all the towers, you get access to this accessory that makes you immune to all status effects. And there's just a lot of moments in this game where there's one treasure chest that it looks completely innocuous, but inside of it is an incredibly important accessory. And it is baffling. It's completely baffling.
And it's almost as bad as all the celestial weapons in 10, but
it's not that bad.
No, yeah, the celestial weapons in 10 is dumb. It's bad.
I would say.
And it's painful to get them.
So the celestial weapons, I would say, are a lot more of a time suck, but they are a high-end thing that you're not expecting to do, and it is just for your most entrenched players. The problem with this game is that, partially because of their non-linear design and strategy, you have no reason to think that there are... Like, you can't just put a treasure chest on the beaten path like you could in another game, because you can skip most of the stuff. And so many of these different items are either off in side quests that are bullshit, or they're tucked away in slightly weird spots, and there's no way to judge what things should be found at what time, or whether things are important at all. This game is poorly designed, and this is one of the parts.
And what I think is insulting to the audience is all this game has going for it are the dress spheres. So when you take the time to hide entire dress spheres in side quests or incredibly difficult puzzles, that's insulting to the audience, because this is all this game has. Like, the celestial weapons, Waka still has multiple weapons he can use, which are pretty great. There's nothing like the Dark Knight dress sphere that fits that role or does that job. There's nothing like the ribbon. Oh, the fucking ribbon. Oh, God damn it. There's nothing like that shit in the game. Ever. The whole point of the mechanics of Final Fantasy X-2 is you feel motivated to get these dress spheres, examine their abilities, examine and identify what their trope is, and determine yourself if you want to invest in this dress sphere or not. And if you don't want to invest in a dress sphere, who cares? There are plenty of other options you have. But when you remove an option, and sometimes they will be tucked away in side quests that expire in between chapters, and you can never get them again.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Yeah. Fuck that.
So when you finally get through all of this stuff, you fight Barrel Eye.
I want to talk about the ribbon puzzle.
Difficult. Okay, fine. Talk about the ribbon puzzle.
So, this fucking game, I know you joked about this. This fucking game, I am in this goddamn fucking pit below Bevelle, and oh, Mento, I love you. I love you. I'm sorry that I blew up on you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I was told by Mento and other people that there's this cool fucking thing, ribbons. It's like, oh man, I remember ribbons from Final Fantasy VII. They were the best goddamn thing. They were just the best. So I'm like, oh, cool. There's a ribbon. But it's hidden in just the most frustrating puzzle I've played in a good long time. And I say that as someone who really hated the cloister missions.
Don't you just go through all 6 towers and then jump all the way down?
No, you fucking don't. These horribly marked things, these horribly marked platforms, each control a different platform, and you have to figure out using the fuzzy-looking font that is in front of the platform or the switch and determine if it's going to do the 4th, 5th, or 6th platform, and you have to move them left or right in order to move them to where you can jump down. So if it's the fucking doodly shit, it's only going to move the 4th platform, and you have to move that one once. Then you have to do the 5th platform, and you need to move it left twice. And the 6th one, you have to move like 3 times. But every single time you move one of the platforms or you select one of the platforms, it unleashes a boss fight with either the Spectral Keeper / Precepts Guard or that fucking skeleton fish monster, and you have to fight them 7 or 8 times. And you have to keep fighting them.
Yep.
And
it's bad.
I got close. I don't know if I'm going to get the ribbon.
I would say don't bother. I beat the game without it.
But it's there, Gino. It's there. It is there. And you know what's really kind of, I noticed it real quick, is when I did the live stream playthrough, I basically just did the critical path. I never did any side quests. I got to 34%. For my blog playthrough, my real playthrough, quote unquote, real playthrough, I did the first couple of missions and I did all of the side quests and I got to 36% before even getting my first uniform. So this game's the priorities of this game are thoroughly fucked. And like there are times when the game presents, oh, hey, mission start, and you don't have a quest log. You don't know, like, oh, what's my progress with this quest? Is it still active? Do I still have to go to the other people around the world and advertise for Argent or whatever the other thing is? Do I still have to find this guy, this one random dude's son, a wife or a husband? Am I still actively looking for those 2 Ronso kids? Like, I don't know what's active or not. I just have to fucking go around the environment, talk to people, and hope that they're related to the side quest. Yep. Or quests in general. And, like, also, like, progressing the main story is only, like, 10% of the game. It only gives you, like, 15%. So this game has just bad priorities. Very bad. But again, I kind of like the side quests because there's so much cool shit there. And you get cool stuff to use in the game. So I feel conflicted, Gino. Oddly enough, when you get the Dark Knight dress sphere and you start interacting with Barrel Eye, the game picks up. I would even say like storming the Bevelle Temple as a set piece, as a cutscene, as a presentation package, it's pretty cool. Like storming, going into the underground city. Like, yeah, we nitpick the fact that it makes no sense, but it's a cool looking place. Like, at least they took the time to design this new environment. Like, it's a drab dungeon that's this futuristic cityscape, so it's really easy. But it's kind of it's a visually interesting and absorbing, awe-inspiring environment. It's like one of 6 that they took the time to create this new environment, but it's a dark dungeon. I'll take it. So the game is kind of going up. I felt like this last hour of Chapter 2 was compelling. I don't know if you agree or not. Because you talk to Barrel Eye, he's basically like, I understand why you're doing this. You want to get Vagnagun, but trust me, no good will come from using this robot. You don't understand. It's going to destroy the world. It's going to be a monster just as bad as Sin. It's like, okay. And my favorite line in the game so far, actually, no, I think I like Trommel's line, like, we don't expect you to forgive us, we expect you to forget us, that is the best line in the fucking game.
So far, yes.
The second best line in the game is when Barreleye says, I know why you're fighting, and I'm sorry that it's come to this. Like, he realized that the unmovable force, the powerful force and the immovable object. He recognizes, like, the situation he sees in. And I really like that. It's like, oh, shit, Barreleye. I almost wish that I knew and had this characterization of you before I had to pick which side I was with. Like, if you had told me, like, yeah, we're actually trying to protect the world from this horrible monster. We don't understand the technology, but for now, let's bury it in this giant pit and hope that nobody tries to turn it off. Fuck, Nooj, you son of a bitch. I actually thought that was the best moment of Chapter 2. So I don't know if you agree. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to hear your presentation.
I thought that was fine. My favorite moment in Chapter 3 is Chapter 2 is when Bahamut shows up and you fight him.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell is going on?
I love what is happening. I love how flabbergasted Yuna. I love that battle. I actually, now that it's done, I think that it even is okay that they buried Bahamut as a physical threat. I feel like it makes sense that he's depowered. I think it makes sense that his abilities are lessened since the events of 10. And just, boy, does the ending of Chapter 2 just give this really interesting hook. Boy, is there this really interesting hook. It's like, shit, what the fuck is going on? Like, when I saw Bahamut, you saw in the live stream, I'm like, what the hell? What is happening? What is happening? It's like, oh, man. And I got to be honest. When the stream ended and I was done with Chapter 2, I said to myself, man, I got to see what's next. I'm actually motivated to see why there are the Aeons, what is Vegnagun, how are Nooj and Barreleye going to reconcile their differences, or how are their differences going to result in this cataclysmic conflict during a time in which the people of Spira need to be united? How is the new era going to conflict with the old era? I feel like there are all these really interesting pieces, these interesting hooks to Final Fantasy X-2 that, again, I really enjoyed in the final hours of Chapter 2.
Let me say, I'm sure they're all just going to get paid off.
Oh, they're totally going to pay off. It's like, it's almost as if, like, when you said, so, like, when you played Chapter 2, you were still pretty, I remember this, you were still pretty positive about Final Fantasy X too.
Yeah. Yeah, I was. I was young, naive back then.
Yeah.
Wide-eyed. I thought the things were coming. That this time it was going to be different.
You were really positive. You were really positive.
With that bit of foreshadowing, what do you think is coming up? I'm going to write down these predictions because I have been bad about writing down predictions in the past. What do you think is coming?
Oh, man. I bet there's a... All right. Is it really a prediction if the person that we've been seeing in these spheres isn't actually Titus?
I mean, you can say that's a prediction.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think that's much of a prediction.
I don't think that's much of a prediction. I think... You remember that flashback?
Yeah.
The flashback where the fucking Titus and Yuna get shot? I think that those flashbacks are Yuna being corrupted by the spheres. And she's putting herself in the lives of this Lynn character and whoever the fucking fake the Titus doppelganger is. I think that the fake doppelganger Titus is the real version of Titus, not Dream Titus, like the actual version of Titus who lived in Xanarkand. The real person before Xanarkand got its shit destroyed. I am going to predict that Vegnagun is a weapon. Well, if it's in Bevelle, I was going to say that it might have been a machina that Xanarkand used, but they were summoners. So I'm going to predict that
Bevelle is the Machina City.
That Vegnagun is a Machina that Bevelle created to destroy Xanarkin. What else do I need to predict? Oh, you mentioned this. I have to predict why Yuna is obsessed with dancing. Should I predict that?
You can if you want to.
I feel like shit. What's the conceit to Yuna being obsessed with dancing? She got super sad and someone taught her how to dance and she can't stop. She was taught how to dance and it cheered her up and she can't stop. Is there anything you want me to predict? Gino, think of something that you know that's going to be super crazy, or like something that we know about chapter 1 and 2 that's going to blow my pants off. It's going to fucking blow my mind up.
No, because if I even ask you a question, I will inevitably spoil. I will make you prepared, and I need you
so
to
I'm
be.
gonna make.
I
the
need
prediction.
you to be on your back feet. You should never be on the balls of your feet ready.
I'm gonna make the prediction. I already suggested here. I think that there's this shady underground society that was predicting the underground portion of Bevelle. They're going to be the new antagonist, and Paine used to be a part of them. Because of course, this new character that we fucking were introduced when the game started has a shady ass background. She's the fucking Kate Sith of Final Fantasy X-2. Except actually good in combat. Because Kate Sith is a piece of shit and it fucking sucks so goddamn much. At least Paine can hit real hard.
She does hit Howard. So, I think that's it for our second episode of Final Fantasy X-2. Luckily, these episodes will get shorter because this game gets shorter.
Wait,
every
what?
chapter.
How much left of the game do we have? Like another 10?
You're about halfway through.
What the fuck?
Maybe.
Oh, man.
40% of the way?
Gino, just at least tell me this. Is the 5th chapter literally like 15, 20 minutes long? It's just one boss fight?
Depends on side quests and stuff.
Son of a bitch.
Chapter 4.
Okay, chapter 4.
So I'm going to say for the next podcast, you should do chapters 3 and 4.
Okay. Wow, we're really just going to save everything from chapter 5. You know what?
Well, it's because chapter 4 is like a few minutes.
Gino, I realized that I had someone ask me this question. It was on Steam. Someone asked if we could do a podcast about all the bonus content in the HD remaster version of this game.
No, we can't.
Why? It's there.
Because I don't want to play the bonus content.
You can watch it, and then I can talk about my experiences.
I don't want to play it. It looks so bad. I turned it on, and then I tried to play it, and it was so bad.
You should fucking open up the bonus audio, which I only saw like 10 seconds of. I want you to do that, and then I want you to just look at the font of the bonus audio content when you hit bonus audio.
Okay, fine. I'll do that.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we're still willing to take positive if you're super down with the clown,
if you like Final Fantasy X,
Juggalo up in here.
No.
If you are really down with Final Fantasy X-2, we want to hear your comments. Look, here's the thing. All this sludge that we slung at Final Fantasy X-2's way, and overall, my overall impressions of the game so far is mostly negative. We try to find the silver lining to this game. Like, I still feel kind of there's a part to the dress sphere system that's compelling.
There's a lot of little things that could have worked had they done it better.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Unfortunately, we have to play the game that they made and not the game that I could imagine someone with more time and effort making.
And so if you have positive comments about Final Fantasy X-2, whether or not you believe that's an empowering video game for women and women gamers or just people in general, or if you feel the dress sphere system is a oddly complex or deep experience, or you actually like the fact that this is about Yuna and Yuna trying to uncover this mystery, like, tell us. We want to,
or if you want to drop kick this game in the chest.
Yeah, if you want to join,
take it from the top rope.
The Paine train.
Feel free.
Business is booming.
At at deeplistenspod, at thatpinguino, deeplistens.libsyn.com, and deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. So, thank you, ZP, once again for joining on the Paine train. Till next time, thank you, listeners. Peace!